Wyatt Davis, 86th overall, the third round draft pick for the Minnesota Vikings. I think he should be an immediate starter on this line. He has really good size at 6'4" and 315 pounds. His arm length is also really good for a guard. At 33 and 7/8 of an inch. And just for reference, Brian O'Neill, who is 6'7", has 34 and 1/8 inch arm, and Ezra Cleveland at 6'6" has 33 and 3/8 inch arm length. So it's somewhat comparable to Brian O'Neill, and it's better than Ezra Cleveland's, despite him being shorter than both of them. So it's pretty good. Now Davis, he is a strong, aggressive guard who does really, really well in the inside zone plays, and he played much better in 2019 than 2020. But even if he's closer to a lackluster 2020 version, that's still better than what Minnesota fielded at left guard for sure, and would still improve Minnesota's offensive line. Now, I don't know how much of that has to do with the fact that he did deal with some injuries in 2020 versus 2019, and then obviously he had the whole COVID situation of things, and Ohio State in itself was kind of ridiculous. And there's this one flaw that I think you can sometimes find with him, and it's a lack of latching. Because it's not like he won't actually hit people and try to drive them. He is actually really aggressive and will hit people. Just sometimes it kind of seems like he doesn't latch on and grab, but he'll still try to push. It's almost like an open hand push, it feels like sometimes, and defenders can just kind of bounce off him and still maybe make a tackle. But there are even a lot of instances where that happens, where he's able to push for enough ground that the backs can still get yardage. And the one benefit of this is a very easy thing to fix. So that's nice. And I think this is honestly one of the best picks they could have possibly made in this draft. Because now having Darrisaw, Davis, Bradbury, Cleveland, and O'Neill, this gives the Vikings a great young nucleus of talent along the offensive line. So, and it's just kind of, hopefully it can finally come together. Now, Zimmer did say he wanted to get bigger on the line when they drafted Darrisaw on the first night. So when we look at the rest of this, the average weight of the starting five offensive linemen last season was 308 pounds. Now Darrisaw is 322 and Davis is 315 pounds. So we're already surpassing that 308 mark, kind of crushing it. And for the most part, I do agree with this, because a lot of people have kind of said, oh, they suck because of the zone running system. That's why everything sucks. No, that's not why it sucks. It sucks because they gone for strictly prototypes at that. Because if you actually look at these zone running systems, a lot of them actually employ really good lines. You look at the Rams. They're one of the better lines in the league as of late, usually, per year. The Browns last year, I think Pro Football Focus rated them as the number one line, runs essentially the same thing we do up in Minnesota. The Niners, the same deal. A lot of these teams actually have really good offensive lines. And for just a zone running blocking scheme, the Chiefs are also that, who usually have a good offensive line. So it doesn't have to do with the system. It has to do with the fact that they get guys who are only good at that. Now, what they're doing now, it looks like, is they're getting guys who, that gray area, basically enough athleticism to function within this system, but you don't sacrifice power to where your quarterback is dying every other play. So that's really nice. It's about time that realization happened. Now, they will need to figure out who the left guard is, considering Wyatt Davis played right guard, Ezra Cleveland played right guard. So someone has to flip over to left. I think I would prefer Cleveland to move over to left, just because we know he's played on the left side before, and he was a tackle by trade. But obviously with Darrisaw in the mix, he's no longer our tackle of the future. I don't think anyone's going to mistake him for that anymore. So I would think putting him back on the left side is probably the most natural course of action. But who knows? I'm just thinking, like, you figure that out. You should still probably be better than you were last year on the interior at the very least, because Dakota Dozier hopefully isn't starting football games because for some reason they decided to bring that back. But yeah, figure that out. And for the most part, this is the most optimistic I have been about Vikings offensive line in quite some time, because I think we might be getting close to that average mark, which it's sad that that's kind of the goal, but that's where we're at. And I think we might be able to get there because we got two of probably my favorite guys when it comes to the tackle and guard position. Like, this was probably one of the best combinations possible. So, good job. You did something good on the offensive line for once. This is, at the very least, I think we can stop saying that they didn't try, because now, just because when you look at the starters, assuming Wyatt Davis is one, you're going to have Darisaw, who you used a first-round pick on, Davis, who you used a third-round pick on, Bradbury's a first, Cleveland's a second, as is Brian O'Neill. So Wyatt Davis, the 86th overall draft pick in the third round of the 2020-21 draft, is the lowest drafted player on this offensive line. So I'm thinking you tried. And when you add Mason Cole into the mix, he was a third-round draft pick, I believe, in 2018 himself. So, not bad. Not bad at all. I would like to know your guys' comments down below. Always helpful. Liking and subscribing, always helpful as well. And until next time, I bid y'all adieu.